Death by Toys. Let's do it. Do, 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 do,
All right. Hi, you guys.
What's up, dude? Yay! How's it going?
Good. It's nice to see you, dude.
It's a pleasure. I don't think we've ever actually seen you in person.
Oh, well.
Well, actually, I still haven't seen you in person, technically.
Yeah, we've never met in real life.
This is only a, whatever you call it, digital representation.
Yeah, well, this is exactly what I look like in real life. You're getting a pretty accurate representation.
So how are you?
I'm good, man. I was very happy to see those Adam and Steve figs. They came out great, dude. Thank you, guys. You did such a nice job.
Well, after I don't know how long I was nagging you, like
years.
You had made one, and I just thought it was there's just a few figures that I would say, like, not a few, maybe a few dozen in all of the years of doing this, that when you look at it, you have a visceral reaction. I always call it like the gut punch. You know, it happened to me when I first saw the Gay Empire, in 2005. You just go, Special Ed's Alien versus Predator with the Michael Jackson. Like, when you see that one, you're just like, oh, and actually I would see it from the people walking by the booth at San Diego. They'd go, oh, Alien versus Predator, cool. And then they would see Michael Jackson, and the look on their face, they'd go like this. They'd go, oh, and yours wasn't so much of like but you'd see it and you'd smile and go, hey, it's like, it just, everything is communicated, like all the depth, all of the commentary, whatever, it just like instantly like relatable, and boom, it just, I don't know. So it has all of those qualities. So I was bugging you just to do an edition, and then what's going to happen to the one that you made. And it was like, I don't know, back and forth. And then finally I was like, how about we make it?
Yeah, that changed everything for me. So,
because you are not the type of artist, at least with figures, that makes, large editions of stuff. You're usually making like one or two or a handful, and they're generally higher priced. And then when they're gone, you're kind of like on to the next thing, right?
Yeah, for the most part. The stuff I'll do ongoing runs of are the things that are like novelties or kind of anti-figures. But when it comes to actual resin cast figures, with the exception of a couple projects, I'll do like 10, 15, 20 like that. And then that's it. I mean, what I can realistically charge for, especially something like Adam and Steve, that's 2 resin figures on there, you can't really get away with charging double just because it's got the 2. So it's been so hard for me to find the time and to make that worth my time to make those.
Sure.
So that was great when you offered that. I don't think there was any hesitation when you said that. I was like, yes, please just make them. I just want to see them made. I just don't have the time.
I just think it'd be great if, and so then what we did is we decided to fuck with the ethnicity of the characters, because you had 2 white guys. So I asked you if we could make it, change the skin tone, and you were like, absolutely. And then part of me thought that, wouldn't it be funny, because we advertised it using your original, because these weren't done until they're 2 days ago.
Oh yeah.
and they're still not all carded. They're still, see them all there. They've been sealed and they're all there, but they still need to be carded. And we thought, I thought maybe we would just go with the photo of your original of the 2 white guys. And then if people got this in the mail, we would just wait to see who complained.
Yeah.
And see how awkward that conversation would be. It's like, hey, so I ordered this and it's not the same as the one in the picture. And it's like, oh yeah, so what is your problem with it?
Yeah, I can't place it. Something seems different on it. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So we made 100.
They're great.
And hopefully once those sell out, we can just change up the colors again.
Yeah,
just
I love that.
keep it ongoing. So tell us about yourself, or I guess what I ask everyone to do is, for anyone living under a rock who doesn't know who you are, can you just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do?
Sure. I'm Dan Polydoris. I am Death by Toys. I make just bootleg goofball action figures and novelties. So I've been running Death by Toys I've been making figures since 2013, and the Death by Toys name has been around, I don't know, 6 years, 5 years, something like that. I don't really have great concept of time, so.
I think my favorite toys are the ones I originally discovered was it the Activision figures?
Oh yeah, the old Atari figures. That was the first time you messaged me about Pitfall.
Pitfall, because you were taking some Star Wars figures and using Pitfall. Harry wasn't Star Wars, but a few of the other ones,
it was Mega Man,
Atari ones, Mega Man, like
Mario.
And then the first time I met Dane Marks from Buzzard Guts, he had made some Mario figures, using the same figures that you did. He just saw what you did and he just he copied it. And I had no idea that you had done it before. And I got these are amazing. And then I saw that you had done it. And I asked him, I was like, hey, dude, like, you weren't the first to do these. He's like, oh, no, that Death by Toys guy, like, he did it before I did. Like, okay. Thanks for fessing up. That was good.
I mean, I made those so long ago. I made those when I was literally waiting for my first kid to be born. And I was just looking to kill time and did them for fun. And didn't even realize much of what else was going on outside of other people doing it and stuff. So wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So are you an artist full time? What else do you do?
Now I run Death by Toys out of my house now.
That's it.
So was in the editing and writing corporate world for 15 years and got to the point where I just could not do this on top of writing and editing and quit corporate America to focus on this. And I've been doing this for about a year now. Wow. So it's been good. First half, me feeling it out a little bit. And by feeling it out, I mean hemorrhaging money left and right. But
I'm sure COVID did not help with that.
Oddly enough, I feel super fortunate that it hasn't affected me the way it's affected a lot of people that rely on cons or rely on a brick and mortar store, because I've always just run it out of my house. I've only done 100% online. So it's been and I'm someone that prefers to just be in the house by myself as much as possible. So that's like a pretty good fit for me to just be able to get home.
You're already used to the self-isolating.
Yeah, it's kind of a smooth transition for me, I guess. So.
As most artists did you ever think when you were a kid, like what did you want to be when you grew up?
As a kid, my whole thing was wanting to do stand-up comedy because I wanted to just do goofball. I was like you can be on a stage and dick around and be an asshole, and that sounds great. And I did 6 years of stand-up in Chicago, and it was fun, and it taught me how to be a better writer, and I made some good contacts. It taught me what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do. And from there, after I stopped doing stand-up in 2012, this started. So, and this has felt much better. And as a kid, I had an idea of comedy and toys. It was always toys for me. I never, when you're like 5 or 6 and you're buying toys and you're like with your friends and you're hoarding them or whatever, and then as everyone gets older, they start to kind of drop them and move on to other things. And it's by like end of junior high, beginning of high school, and I'm still holding all of them. Like, well, then I guess I'll take yours if you guys don't want them, losers. And it just kind of has always been that. So I've always just
So did you really get all of your friends' toys?
Some, not all. A few of them.
I mean, that would be amazing. Like if you had the foresight to like Just wait
Yeah.
around like till all of your friends are out of toys and just say, hey, when you're done with those, I'll take them. And then just like,
Yeah.
he who dies with the most toys wins kind of
Yeah,
thing.
kind of. So I was like, I'll take all those 90s Marvel Toy Biz figures if you're done playing with those now. So, and some of them kept them for their kids. I also kept a few for my kids, but I don't know. Our kids are about the same age, aren't they, Dove?
I'm 3 and 7.
Yeah, okay. I'm 5 and 7. So I don't know. My kids look at all this stuff because it's all over my house. And I mean, my vintage stuff and my actual work. And they kind of just don't give a shit about it. They're just kind of like, great. Okay, Dad. Cool. It's cotton in a plastic bubble. What the fuck is okay? Can I go play Roblox now? Like, all right, fine. So
Yeah. I mean, my 7-year-old's still into toys, but I can tell from like the 10-year-old across the street, like doesn't play with toys at all. Like he has his basketball and his bike, but it's like video games and that's it.
Yeah, if it's not like outdoor playing stuff, it's like on an iPad playing some sort of game. So, I mean, whatever. These days, movies for kids don't have the action figure tie-ins the way it did like in the 80s and stuff. So it's kind of a different world for kids. So I get it. I mean, I'm not really quick to push this stuff on my kids anyways, because it's not like I want to push like, hey, play with this Castle Grayskull and fucking break all of it. And they do that with anything I've given them, even the stuff I haven't given them to. I hunted for years for a dead mint My Pet Monster to replace the one that I had. I just wanted a good one with the cuffs, with the mint hands that have that sort of like iridescent, like the foily paint almost. And I bought a dead mint one. And in 2 weeks, my daughter was so excited about it and grabbed it and just took the hand and just squeezed the hand, and all the paint just crumbled right off of the hand.
Oh, no.
Well, this is going in my studio and I don't love you anymore. So,
oh man.
So whatever else they're into, I'm happy to have it be that and not this stuff. Leave your hands off this shit.
So like when I look on Instagram, you have like the most insane following. I would say more than most even like the Sucklord and all these, the perennial favorites in the scene. How did that happen?
Fuck if I know. I don't know. If I knew how that was going, I'd be trying to like capitalize on it or work on that more. I mean, I'm honestly just posting and making the stuff that I want to do. And I've been feeling fortunate that people kind of stay on board. When I kind of stopped doing vintage style retro gaming figures, like those, Mega Man figures, the Activision figures, the NES figures, when I stopped doing that and was kind of focusing more on horror, part of me was like, man, I sort of started gaining a little bit of a following by doing vintage retro gaming figures. Should I think about this before I start trying other stuff? And I was like, no, but I was doing what I wanted to do first. That's the point of this for me, at least, like while I was waiting for my kid to be born. I just wanted to make figures for fun. So as it switched to horror, found a little bit of a niche audience here and there. And then even then, I don't do a ton of horror anymore like I used to. And it's just kind of grown into just whatever I happen to think is funny or whatever statement I feel like making at that point. And for whatever reason, people have not jumped ship, which is nice in terms of following me, and people have kind of.
But was there not like wasn't there something that sort of went viral that got you a lot of attention really fast?
I mean, there's been a couple of things that have.
You didn't notice a huge jump at some point?
I mean, I suppose if you were to look at it, I do have like big jumps in there when I don't know, anytime I collab with Porous Walker, who's an artist, and he shares something that I've made, it always tends to bring a huge new group of followers just because we're very similar. Toxic Fumes is mentioning I made some custom horror Ninja Turtles years ago.
Those were great.
ass time ago. They're in my house now. I got them back. We call them the divorce turtles because I made them. They're 490s style, Playmates style Ninja Turtles that look like Jason, Freddy, Myers, and Leatherface. And I made them, and then I sold them when I was getting divorced because I needed a little bit extra money. And then the person I sold them to years later got divorced and needed money. And I just bought them back for the same price. And I was like, I'll just refund it. That's great. I'm not going to hustle you for any more money. I know how it goes. So the Mike Pence flies that I made not that long ago surprisingly made the rounds. I'm not sure where.
That was amazing. And not only that, what was funny is like how many people had the same idea at the same time.
Dude, there was like 5 of us all at once. Kingdom of Spiders, Mug, I think,
Mug's wife, Medusa's Wild.
Oh yeah, Medusa's Wild. Right.
And
there was like a bunch of.
But she did the Baxter Stockman turtle figure.
Yes.
Right, and then Edwin Salas did the hand painted one on the wood panel.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those like 5 or 6, just like boom, like the next day it was like that was.
We're all just fucking pieces of shit. What we all did. So I don't know. A few random pieces here and there have surprisingly. Someone just mentioned, but I mean honestly, someone mentioned that I had a piece that was on Fallon, but that didn't. I don't even remember who it was in the chat that just said that. Sorry. Yucko. But that oddly enough didn't even really do that much for me. I got a spike right when they mentioned my name, but it was such a weird niche specific project that no, it seems to just be like oddball weirdo stuff that's relatable that people seem to share around. And next thing I know, it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's been like a month and people are like, you got any more of those Pence flies? Like, dude, the joke is so played out now. But,
I think that you're like making stuff like when you're into it and you're making it and it sells out, but I think you always like don't realize that it could continue to sell.
And when I stopped working full-time as a copywriter, that was one thing I changed in my store, was instead of making 20 deadbeat dads or 20 or some kind of novelty that's 20 COVID figures and throwing them in I use the term figure very loosely with that, but when I throw them in the store, 20, here's 30, instead of doing that, when I started doing this full time, I made 50 or 100 and then put this, quantity in the store to that, or I just put the quantity to 100 and make them to order.
Nice. I was really a fan of the fragile male ego one with all the broken glass inside the.
Yeah, there were a lot of unhappy dudes about that one.
So, what was your first introduction to the idea of action figure as art? Like when did that present itself to you? Like, how did you even think that this was like a method of artistic expression?
I don't know. I think that if kind of in retrospect, looking back at it, when I first started cutting up vintage Star Wars figures, which is my favorite. I mean, with so many of us, that's like our favorite line, or at least one of our most formative toy lines. When I started chopping those up and piecing them together, I was kit bashing, but I wasn't adding any sculpt. I wasn't really I was keeping everything intact. So just a new head, just a new arm, just a new forearm, and repainted them, and was like, in my mind at the time was like, fucking hell, Luke in his X-Wing helmet, it looks exactly like Mega Man. Like, are you shitting me? I mean, he's got the 2 things here. He's got a streak up on here, and reuse. You cut his boots off. Those are Mega Man's boots with these giant rims around the. I mean, and somewhere in there, when I was piecing those together and painting them, in my mind, I was like, man, this looks like Mega Man now. But if you look at it and you know toys, you also look at it and you're like, that's clearly Luke. And that's clearly Ben Kenobi painted to look like Dr. Light. And that's, you know, clearly a Bespin security guard who's just looks like Charles Bronson, but plays Mario. So somewhere in there, I was like, these aren't just like stupid toys or novelties that I'm making. I don't know. I was like super proud of them and was like, this is something different. And this is just something more than just like, I don't know, a ball and paddle or something. I don't know. It just felt kind of like, and then when I started looking around, discovered Suck Lord, start seeing stuff like that. There's a guy on eBay who makes a ton of horror stuff, Pop's Fart Burger. And seeing that kind of stuff, more and more of it, and was like, shit, okay, there's like people doing this. This is like a legit thing. But I think that if you had asked me at the time, is this art? I probably would have been like, no, get the fuck, no, are you kidding me? This is like toys. But at the same time, I was super proud of it and was like, this is way more than just an action figure.
And then also what's interesting is Dan O'Brown credits you as the one who started his career.
God, we talk or message a pretty good amount. He's become a really good friend and he's a great dude. And I tell him all the time, dude, like he mentions me and things. And it's like, I don't know. I just told him what paint I use. And like, you know,
it really and the funny thing, he feels so guilty. Like he's like,
I know
if he gets too much attention, or if he gets like, if, you know, Vice or whoever like is doing an article or he's on TV or anything. And then he's like, oh, well, you know, it's like Death by Toys. He taught me everything I know. And I kind of feel bad because
I know it's like, funny. He's just such a good dude. He's been on the planet. And
he really cares what you think.
Yeah. Which is funny because I think that if we were to hang out in real life, he'd be like, this dude's garbage. And why do I care so much about what this guy thinks? So maybe it's better that we've never met so I don't have to blow my cover with him. But I mean, yeah, he's so nice about stuff like that. I mean, even to the point where it's had like inverse, like with Vice, he's like, man, I talked to them so much about you and made them like take pictures of your stuff. And it's like, dude, it's about you. It's okay. Make it about you. It doesn't, you don't need to, you know, right. He's great. I mean, and he is so funny that his toys just come out great because he just is a funny dude with good taste, I feel like.
Amazing.
And we get our stuff confused all the time by people. So it doesn't help that his name's Dan too.
Yeah, indeed. So what's next? Like, have you made it? Is this your, I mean, I asked you what you thought, what you wanted to be when you were a kid.
Oh.
Could you have imagined, before you answer that question, could you have imagined being at this age, being on your own, making, you know, action figure art for a living?
No, that probably would not have ever been my first guess in terms of career options if you were to have ever asked me.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I knew I was always selling stuff. Like I was selling stuff at an early age, and I knew that like this was my path to, you know, freedom and, you know, free, you know, independence. And as I sold stuff and started a distribution company and sold that, I mean, I never would have anticipated that I would be like one of those dudes on the convention circuit. Yeah. doing conventions, setting up a convention, and like I never wanted to deal with the general public. I never wanted to sell, you know, selling wholesale was kind of where it was at. But then this is such like a niche of a niche of a niche. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, kind of makes it take a weird turn, and here we are in this world, I guess.
And I can't even explain to other people. I think you have an easier time explaining to people what you do. Like, people are just like, you sell toys? I'm like, yeah, kind of, but it's really art. But
yeah, right.
You know, this, and then they're like, okay, whatever, stay away from my children.
That's basically when you ask, like, what do people think when I explain it? It's usually like they don't get close enough to me to really even hear an explanation. They're like, you know what? We'll cross the street and we'll walk on the. We don't need to go by this guy carrying a giant ET lunchbox or just something like this is it is.
All right, so back to my other question. So is this it? Like, have you made it?
Oh, I don't know if there is anything has made it. I think it really comes down to just what you want to do. And I guess what's next for me this, next year, this year was me kind of laying a lot of the framework for this, getting myself a printer that I'm happy with, being a little bit more meticulous about how much I need to sell and knowing what's worth my time, what's not worth my time, but still making time for things that might not be worth my time financially, but are still just, I want to make this. This is what brought me to the dance in the first place. I'm still going to get after working on fun stuff. But, even the worst of the worst for me running Death by Toys, whether that's like packing boxes for hours and hours on end or going through like a spreadsheet for a huge commission that I have for the end of the year. That's been a bit overwhelming at times. But even the worst of this is better than the best of being a corporate copywriter for the last 10 years. So anything about this, I'll take over working for someone else. And certainly in corporate America, where for me, my biggest problem with that was, you're on a creative team as a copywriter, but you're forced to work with departments that aren't creative. And therefore you're forced to interact and collab with someone with no creative background that's forcing you to bend at their whim because they're a marketing manager. So they feel proud about that because that's a title. And that sucked the life out of me for so long, was having to collab creatively with people that are not creative. So for me, getting the framework and everything in order this year means that next year will probably just be more of this, just more of what you're kind of seeing now. Borchard and I, Mark Borchard from Coven, American Movie, he and I did a collab years ago. We have another collab coming that we were gonna have done for this year, but too many schedule things pushed it back. But next year we'll have more Coven figures of Borchard, which will be fun. More novelties, probably less commissions because those take up too much time and I hate doing them.
And like you said, you have a spreadsheet of commissions. Like, how many commissions are on that spreadsheet?
That's a commission. But so I will really only take 1 or 2 commissions at once, and I'm super picky about them. And it either needs to be something that I'm so stoked about doing or something that pays well enough that it doesn't bother me that I'm not super stoked about doing. This is 140 pieces for somebody, and it's like a spreadsheet of who it is. It's 140 unique figures.
What?
It's friends and family for I sign an NDA, so I can't actually say who it is on here. You'll see it at the end of the year though.
All right, but basically what you're saying is someone has commissioned you to make 140 unique figures.
Yes, of their friends and family for a Christmas present. They're on like a holiday type card back. That's a celebrity client, so money's not real to them. So it's one of those things where they were like, yeah, we'll happily drop this Christmas presents. And me, I'm like, this is a significant portion of my income for the year. We could not be any more different. So
right.
It's been fun. It's been a great person, like client that I've been working with. And like I said, at the end of the year, you'll see it.
So. It's November 15th. So when are these going to be finished, these 140 figures?
I don't know, dude.
But I mean, you have 40 days.
Yeah. So I've enlisted a bunch of other artists in the scene. Kingdom of Fighters, Recall, a few other guys who have been really helpful. And I'm waiting on the last of the photos. I've cleared my schedule for the rest of, at least the rest of the year, but definitely for the next month, and I'll be shitting out then the rest of them. But I mean,
Christmas is in 40 days, dude.
I know. Not helping with this. You think I'm not stressed about it? I know.
140 one of a kind. Are all the card backs the same at least?
Yeah, just an image swap for the person. But I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah, it's about 50 are done. And I can crank them out. I don't have any. I got inventory made for the stuff that's in stock in my store, so I can keep sending boxes out the door. And this is all I'll do. So,
well,
fine. It'll be worth it when it's all done, and you guys will get to see. You'll read about it in some weird magazine, probably, or entertainment site that I don't visit. It will make the rounds, and it'll be fun. So, but yeah, it's just a ton of work right now, but this is what I'll be doing. So,
wow, living the dream.
Yeah, I guess so. Again, I would much rather be doing any of that stuff than still trying to squeeze in time in between a 40-hour-a-week copy with this stuff. So,
but even when you're copywriting, was this the out? I mean, was this what you, or was there something else that you wanted to be?
I'd say during the decade and a half that I was in editing and writing, I never really thought that was for me. There were a couple writing jobs that I had, like in 2009, 2008. I wrote for a trivia game called You Don't Know Jack, which was really fun. That was,
Janky is
nice,
clapping.
my man. And that was fun. And yeah, it's a fun game. Thank you, Chicken Burger Disco. I agree. I love that game too. So I was really stoked to write on that. But even then, I didn't fit in totally with the people that I wrote with. I loved them. We all got along, but they were a lot of improv guys, a lot of, it just wasn't my scene. They were a lot of gamers too. And, what are you going to do on your lunch break, Dan? Like, I don't know. I'm literally looking at G.I. Joe vehicles on eBay right now. We're not, we're just, it's fine. It's not for me. So I think during the whole time that I was writing, I had ideas that there was something else I wanted to do. I don't know if it was necessarily maybe selling. I never really wanted to sell vintage toys for a living, like open a store or something. But I don't know, once people started buying stuff, or you contacting me about Pitfall figures or whatever, it's just been a very slow burn of having this look more and more viable as an option to make a living. And then, yeah, this year was when I was finally like, dude, I just don't have the time. I'm going to just try to do it.
Well, I have to say, congratulations. You did it.
Thank you, dude. It's stressful, but it's not at all like the stress that I went through as a copywriter, waking up and just existential dread, just crisis every day, just every day. I'm unhappy. This is not what I want. So yeah, I'll deal with an overwhelming commission. What the hell is the point of life right now? So. If that makes sense. Didn't mean to get super dark right here.
Well, on that note, I really appreciate you taking the time. It's really been a pleasure to hear your story, and I'm sure everyone else out there really appreciates it too. And wish you all the success.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you guys do. You guys are awesome, and I owe you a ton. So thanks, guys.
And we'll be in touch. And you got a bunch of these that are going to head out to you next week in the mail. And
awesome. I'm excited.
We'll go from there.
Awesome.
All right,
thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Take care. That was amazing.